Everybody, we have a lot of news to cover in today's video. President Biden and many Democrats in Congress are all trying to get the stimulus bill passed. And they're also trying to pass the infrastructure bill, which might include a fourth stimulus check. So welcome back to my channel, folks. In this video, I'll explain to you how you can receive a fourth stimulus check before the end of this year. So you want to be sure to subscribe to my channel and stay until the end of this video. But here's the most important news that you have to know. There is a very good chance that the $1,400 stimulus payment that many of us got a few months ago will not be the last stimulus check that we all received from the federal government. And some of you are definitely going to get another stimulus check for $1,400, as long as you meet a few requirements. First, there's likely going to be an income threshold. For the last round of stimulus payments, single filers who earned more than $80,000 in adjusted gross income, and heads of households who earned more than $120,000 did not receive stimulus payments in the third round. Unlike the first two payments, the third stimulus check were also not restricted to children under 17.
I couldn't help but thinking when we were at the table that what they were offering us was Sophie's choice. Not enough money for food, nothing for housing in terms of rentals. A moratorium, that's nice, but it's not money for rent. It isn't not enough money for money in the pockets of the American people.
Eligible individuals will get a payment based on all of their qualifying dependents claimed on their return, including older relatives like college students, adults with disabilities, and people on Social Security. The second round of the advanced child tax credit payments was processed on August 13th, but nearly 15% of recipients who were expecting a direct deposit on that day have yet to see their benefits. Instead, close to 5.4 million families should get their funds by paper checks sometimes this month. And the child tax credit was worth up to $2,000 per qualifying dependent.
As everyone knows, we firmly believe the need to make our tax system work for the middle class. That's why I think we should ask corporations in the top 1% to start paying their fair share, and why we should crack down on millionaires and billionaires who escape taxes by cheating. But I also think we need to give ordinary families a break.
But you must also fall within certain income limits. For your 2020 taxes, which you filed in early 2021, you can claim the full child tax credit payments if your income is $200,000 or less. Overall, everybody, it is very likely that if you receive SSI, SSDI, or Social Security benefits, you will be eligible for a fourth stimulus check.
Medical problem for your daughter and the whole thing turns upside down. It's time to raise Social Security payments across the board and disability payments, both. And this is what I've got a plan for. Raise Social Security payments $200 a month, raise disability payments $200 a month.
And that's great news for all of us. Do you guys agree? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. First things first, states that ended crisis-era unemployment programs saw modest job gains, and according to multiple sources, 1 in 8 workers who lost some or all of their benefits in the 19 states that ended unemployment programs found a new job by August 6th. And while 21% of workers did find a job in states that kept the unemployment benefits intact. And actually, 26 states cut off the extra $300 in weekly benefits this summer before their federal expiration, while 22 also canceled the unemployment assistance and emergency unemployment compensation programs. Many of these governors blamed the unemployment programs, specifically $300 a week, for labor shortages. Folks, what are your thoughts on this? Should the unemployment benefits be cut off? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. In addition, most of the unemployed workers who found jobs were on the program for workers, like contractors and freelancers, who don't normally qualify for regular unemployment insurance.
So do you want to ask me a question or? Yes, I thought that Leader Schumer's comments were bizarre. He voted for the same package that I did. President Obama urged me to vote for the stimulus bill that passed that year, and indeed called me afterwards to thank me for my vote. I was one of only 3 Republicans who joined the Democrats and gave President Obama this victory during the financial meltdown. So for Chuck Schumer, who was intimately involved in the negotiations as the assistant leader, to somehow criticize me for taking the same position that he did is simply bizarre. And I think it reflects, regrettably, his inability to accept the fact that despite pouring $100 million into defeating me, the people of Maine said no and reelected me to an historic fifth term. I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
Were you caught guard by his comments specifically, and so you're one of 10 Republicans to work with Biden administration to find common ground?
I have a very good relationship with President Biden. I've known him for years. I like him very much. We don't agree philosophically, but we could certainly work together. And I think the best example that I can cite is I organized 10 Republicans to go to the White House with a very specific plan for $618 billion in COVID relief. We had an excellent, worthwhile, productive 2-hour meeting with President Biden. What did Chuck Schumer do? The very next day, he announced that he was going to employ reconciliation in order to shut out the Republicans altogether. He showed that he had absolutely no interest in trying to negotiate a bipartisan agreement, despite our very sincere effort to put forth an initial package that could serve as the basis for negotiation. It's worth noting that last year we were able to pass 5 different COVID relief bills totaling nearly $4 trillion by overwhelming bipartisan majority. Yet as soon as Chuck Schumer takes over as majority leader, we pass a highly partisan bill, much of which has nothing to do with fighting this terrible pandemic. I am going to continue to work with President Biden and his administration. I think, although I'm obviously more conservative than the president, that we have a lot of goals in common, an infrastructure package